Devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today's reciters are Yogesh Prabhu in Sanskrit and Pushpa Mataji in English from Canto 3, Chapter 22, verses 24 to 39. Yogesh Prabhu, when you are ready, please start with the invocation. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Verse 24. Pratam duhitaram samrata sadakshaya gatavyatah upgahya cha bahubhyam o kantyonma thitashayah.
Translation. Thus, relieved of his responsibility by handing over his daughter to a suitable man, Swayambhu Manu, his mind agitated by feeling of separation, embraced his affectionate daughter with both his arms.
Text 25, verse 25. Ashaknu vansa tad viraham munchan pashpa kalam muhuha asinchada amba vasteti netro daira duhitaha shikaha.
The emperor was unable to bear the separation of his daughter. Therefore, tears poured from his eyes again and again, drenching his daughter's head as he cried, "My dear mother, my dear daughter."
Verses 26 and 27. Amantriyatam munivaram anugnataha sahanugah pratasthe ratham arohya sabaryaha swapuram nrupaha ubayora rushi kulyayaha saraswatyaha surodasoha ऋषीणाम उपशान्तानां पश्यन् ashram sampadaha.
After asking and obtaining the great sage's permission to leave, the monarch mounted his chariot with his wife and started for his capital, followed by his retinue. Along the way, he saw the prosperity of the tranquil seas, beautiful hermitages on both the charming banks of the Saraswati, the river so agreeable to saintly persons.
Verse 28. Tam ayantam abhipretya brahma vartat prajapatim git sanstuti vaditraiha pratyudivha praharshitaha.
Overjoyed to know of his arrival, his subjects came forth from Brahmavarta to greet the returning Lord with songs, prayers, and musical instruments.
Verses 29 and 30. Barhishmati nama puri sarva sampat samanvita nyapatana yatra romani yagnasyangam vidunvataha kushaha kashanta evasana shashwadharati varchasaha ऋषयो यैह parabhavya yagna jnanana yagnam ijire.
The city of Parishmati, rich in all kinds of wealth, was so called because Lord Vishnu's hair dropped there from his body when he manifested himself as Lord Boar. As he shook his body, this very hair fell and turned into blades of evergreen kusha grass and kasa, another kind of grass used for mats, by means of which the sages worshipped Lord Vishnu after defeating the demons who had interfered with the performances of their sacrifices.
Verse 31. Kush kashimayaha barhira astirya bhagavana manuha ayajad yagna purusham labdha sthanam yato bhuvam.
Manu spread a seat of kushas and kashas and worshipped the Lord, the personality of Godhead, by whose grace he had obtained the rule of the terrestrial globe.
Verse 32. Barhismatim nama vibura Yama nirvishya samavasata tasyam pravisto bhavanam tapatraya vinashanam.
Having entered the city of Parishmati, in which he had previously lived, Manu entered his palace, which was filled with an atmosphere that eradicated the three miseries of material existence.
Verse 33. Sabharyaha saprajaha kamana bubujenya virodataha sangiyamana satkirtiha sastribiha suragayakaiha pratya usheshva anubandena rudashrunavan hareha kathaha.
Emperor Swayambhu Manu enjoyed life with his wife and subjects and fulfilled his desires without being disturbed by unwanted principles contrary to the process of religion. Celestial musicians and their wives sang in chorus about the pure reputation of the emperor, and early in the morning, even day, he used to listen to the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a loving heart.
Verse 34. Nishnatam yogasayasu munim swayam bhuvam manuma yad sabram shayritum bhoga na shekura bhagavat param.
Thus, Swayambhu Manu was a saintly king. Although absorbed in material happiness, he was not dragged to the lowest grade of life, for he always enjoyed his material happiness in a Krishna conscious atmosphere.
Verse 35. Ayat yamas tasyasan yamah swantara yapanaha shrunvato dhyayato vishnoha kurvato bruvataha kathaha.
Consequently, although his duration of life gradually came to an end, his long life, consisting of Manvantara era, was not spent in vain, since he ever engaged in hearing, contemplating, writing down, and chanting the pastimes of the Lord.
Verse 36. Sa evam swantaram ninye yuga nama ek saptatim vasudeva prasangnena paribhut gati trayah.
He passed his time, which lasted 71 cycles of the 4 ages, which is 71 times 4,320,000 years, always thinking of Vasudev and always engaged in matters regarding Vasudev. Thus, he transcended the three destinations.
Verse 37. Sharira manasa divya vayase yecha manushaha bhautikascha katham kalesha badante hari samshrayam.
Therefore, O Vidura, how can persons completely under the shelter of Lord Krishna in devotional service be put into miseries pertaining to the body, the mind, nature, and other men and living creatures?
Verse 38. Yah prushto muni biha praha dharman nana vidhan rachubhana nunan varna shramanamacha sarvabhuta hitah sada.
In reply to questions asked by certain sages, he, Swayambhu Manu, out of compassion for all living entities, taught the diverse sacred duties of men in general and the different varnas and ashramas.
Verse 39. Etat adi rajasya manoscharitam adbhutam varnitam varnaniyasya tad apatyodayam shrunu.
I have spoken to you of the wonderful character of Swayambhu Manu, the original king, whose reputation is worthy of description. Please hear as I speak of the flourishing of his daughter Devahuti. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purport of the third canto 22nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Yogesh Prabhuji and Pushpa Mataji. Very beautifully recited. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees, for kindly joining this evening to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and also giving this opportunity to speak few words. Okay, so before we enter into Srimad Bhagavatam, we shall offer our Mangalacharan prayers. Okay, to take blessings from all the Vaishnavas, Gurus, and Acharyas, Krishna, Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Panchatattva, everyone else. Okay. Oh. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांशं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांशम्। हे कृष्ण करुणसिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकासस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृणुतं स्वकताः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्तो ह्य भद्रान् विदुनोति सुकृसतां। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकधन्यं स्वस्तये नमः। एते चां शकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयं इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मुडयन्ति युगे युगे। कृष्णे सुदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह खलु न शुश्रूषामेषा पुराणर्कोऽधिनोदितः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये। अति विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ति स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशम् इमं चिन्तिदुभं पाण्डुषु रुष्णिषुं त्वयि मेनन्य विषया मतिर्मदपति असकृत् रतिमुद्वाहत गङ्गव भूमुदन्वति श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सख विष्णु स्वभाव निधृग राजन्यवंशदहनानापवर्धवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विजय सुराट्य हरावतार योगेश्वर अखिल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते योगेश्वर अखिल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते योगेश्वर अखिल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते त्वलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गसङ्गस्य मच्चाणां किमुताशशः पुनश्च भूयाद्भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गश तदाश्रयेषु महस्त्वयां यामुप्यां सृष्टिं मैत्रसु सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यमीश्वरं श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे बालोऽपि यदनुग्रहात् तरेणानमतग्राह व्याप्तं सिद्धान्तसागरं श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे यत्पादाश्रीविरिसद यत्पादाश्रीविरितः सङ्गृणाचाक्रव्रातात् अज्ञः सिद्धान्तसन्मनीम् ॐ नमो भगवते राधा गोविन्दाय नमः हरे कृष्ण Thank you so much for kindly waiting. I shall share my screen. Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so the name itself so fruitful. Just as soon as we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, it is so pleasing and relishing to the heart. Okay, so in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have been discussing the third canto, chapter 22. So where Kadma Prajapati gets married to Devhuti. So here in this one, Swayambhu Manu came to Kadma Prajapati Ashrama, and then there is a conversations, and then later on, so Kadma Muni accepts Devhuti as his wife, and later on, Swayambhu Manu taking the permission from Kadma Prajapati, he leaves. Okay, that is where our current topic is, and while he was leaving, and what he has seen, and how he is going to enter into his kingdom, and how the subjects of his kingdom, they receive their king. Okay, so there, just to recap from the today verses are covering 28 to 31. So before that, just a little bit of recap. So he was taking the permission from the Kadma Prajapati to leave. आमन्त्र्यं तं मुनिवरम् अनुज्ञातः साहानुगः अनुज्ञातः सः अनुगः प्रतस्ते रथमारुह्य सभार्यः स्वपुरं नृपः. So after taking आमन्त्र्य तं मुनिवरम, he is the best of the sages. Anujñatah sahanugah, and being permitted to leave along with his retinue and with his entourage. Prataste ratamaruhya sabharyah swapuram nrupaha. Along with his wife, he started leaving to his kingdom. And when he was leaving, ubayoho rishikulyayaha sarasvatyaha surodasoho ऋषिणाम उपशांतानम पश्यन्नाश्रम संपदः. Ashrama Sampadaha, the prosperity of the beautiful hermitages surrounded where in the nearer to the Saraswati river, where Kadma Prajapati. So that is, it is describing Tasmin Nitsudiyaha Pardahas. This is what is that shloka? So here the Bindu Saravare, Tasmin Bindusare. Yes, no, that is so beautiful. It is described that Saraswati River, which is surrounding, and then the Bindu Saravara is there, which is which is Bindu Saravara is formed by the tears from the eyes of the Lord. Nyapatan Asur Bindavaha, Krupaya Samparit, this is Krupaya by when he was meeting Kadma Prajapati, the Supreme Lord, it was so pleasing with the loving glances on him. So at that time, tears fall down. That formed as a Bindu Sarovar. So which is surrounded by the Saraswati river. Okay, so Punyam Sivamrita Jalam Maharshi Gana Sevanam. This is so many great sages. So here that is described like the Upayoha Rishikulyayaha Saraswatyaha Surodasoho. This is the river of the Saraswati, charming banks. Rishi Nam of the great sages. So many great sages are assembled within that. Even our Vyasadeva also composed the Srimad Bhagavatam on the banks of the Saraswati river. Rishi Nam Upashantanam Pasyanashrama Sampadaha. Pasyan. So here Swayambhumanu and Shatarupa, they're watching the prosperity of the beautiful hermitages. Okay, now they're going to their kingdom. So we are going to cover from the shloka 28 onwards. So here it describes that Swayambhumanu, his kingdom is Brahmavatta and his capital is Barishmati. And then how he has lived, how his subjects received him. Okay, so here Tam Ayantam Abhiprecha Brahma Vattat Prajahpatim Geet Samsadi Vaditraihi Pratyadiyuhu Prahashitaha. Pratyadiyuhu Prahashitaha. Their people are very, very happy, overjoyed to hear that their king is coming to Brahmavatta. Tam Ayantam Abhiprecha. So knowing that their king is coming, Brahmavatat Prajaha Patim. So Brahmavatta, it is the place, it comes between the Hastinapura and the Dwaraka. Hastinapura and the Dwaraka. So in between, it is that place. So many kings have ruled, Swayambhumanu, and when Krishna was passing through that area as well. Okay, so Tamayantam Abhiripritya Brahma Vattat Prajaha Patin Gita Samsti Vaditraihi Pratyadiyuhu Prahashitaha. And all their subjects, Gita Samstiti Vaditraha, with songs, praise, and instrumental music, they're all doing auspicious things to invite their king. Pratyadiyuhu, they came forward to greet Prahashitaha, overjoyed. This is very beautiful moment for all of their subjects. Okay, so translation. Overjoyed to know of his arrival, his subjects came forth from Brahmavatta to greet their returning lord with songs, prayers, and musical instruments. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is the custom of the citizens of a kingdom's capital, to receive the king when he returns from a tour. There is a similar description when Krishna returned to Dwaraka after the battle of Kurukshetra. At that time, he was received by all classes of citizens at the gate of the city. Formerly, capital cities were surrounded by walls and there were different gates for regular entrance. Even in Delhi today, there are old gates. And some other old cities have such gates where citizens would gather to receive the king. Here also the citizens of Barishmati, the capital of Brahmavatta, the kingdom of Swayambhuva, came nicely dressed to receive the emperor with decorations and musical instruments. So here, whenever we receive either our relatives or auspicious people, acharyas, gurus, then we invite them. Dwari Gurhanam cha Tatyakshita Palekshubihi. And everyone received them with the Purna Kumbha, having their pot within the full water, and then on top of that coconut and also the mango leaves around it, surrounding, that is called Purna Kumbha. So Dwari Gruhanam cha Balibihi, Dadyakshata Palekshubihi. Pala Ikshubihi is the sugar canes. Dadyakshata Palekshubihi. And also their yogurt, milk, and auspiciously they are sprinkling the yellow rice, mixed with yellow rice. It is sprinkled here and there. And also the fruits and flowers. It is so auspicious to receive. All homes they are like that. Dwari dwari gruhanam cha davyakshata palekshubhihi. So this is described again whenever Krishna is coming, in order to enliven his people there in the Dwarka, he has blowed his conch shell again to enliven their people. People, they have got a separation from Krishna. They have आनत्तान् सौवृद्ध्या शुद्धान् स्वपदान् जनपदान् स्वकान् दद्मो दरवरं तेषां Vishadam Samayanniva. So whenever Krishna is blowing, Dadmu Darvaram Tesham Vishadam Samayanniva. People, they are in the Vishada because of separation from Krishna. And Krishna came to that place, Anattan Sa Upurujja, Sruddhan Janapadan Swakan, and so beautiful places where people live. At that time, he was blowing his conch shell. It is Dadmu Dar. It is described like Savuchaka Se Davala Daro Daro. अपि उरुक्रमस्य धृशोणशोणिमां दाद्मायमानः कलकञ्जसम्पुटे यताब्जकण्डे कलहं सुबुत्स्वनः. It is blowing when he is having a conch shell, the panchajanya into his mouth and blowing it. Savuchakase davala daro daro. It is very white and it is Krishna's lips are reddish. That hue is falling onto that conch shell. And it is appearing very beautifully. It is Adhara Shodha Shodima and Dadmaya Manaha Kadakanja Sampute. And whenever he is blowing that conch shell, it is appearing, and then everyone is, if you see the side angle, there is a white swan coming and playing with the lotus flower, reddish lotus flower. It is like Yatabjakande Kalaham Savutsvanaha. So beautifully it is described. And then as soon as the people of this Dwaraka, they heard the sound of Krishna's conch shell, Panchajanya. Tam upsrutya ninadham jagad bhaya bhayavaham. As soon the sound, it is even fearful to the fear personified. Tam uchakase tam upsrutya ninadham jagad bhaya bhayavaham. Pratyadiyuho prajaha sarvaha. Pratyadiyuho prajaha sarvaha. Bhartru darshana lalasaha. They wanted to see Krishna. As soon as they heard, everyone came. Pratyadiyuho prajaha sarvaha. Bhartru darshana lalasaha. Everyone ran to see Krishna. And then they did not come just simply like that. They have whatever is possible for them. They have brought Tatropanita Bhalayo, Revedhipim Vadrutaha, Atmaramam Punakapam Nijala Bheri Nicheta, Priti Utpula Mukaha Protuhu, Harsha Gadgadaya Gira. Preet Utpala Mukaha Prochuhu, Harsha Gadgadaya Gira. They are with very happy faces. They brought whatever the possibility for them. They brought little gifts. It is like a Rave Dhipim Ivadhrutaha. We do not have to offer a lamp to the sun god. He is very brilliant. He does not need. But here, this is given. It is for Atmaramaha, Atmaram Purnakamaha, Nijalabhin Nityada. It is for our benefit's sake. Nijalabhena. So likewise, Tatropanita Bhaliyo, they brought all the gifts to give it to Krishna. And they're speaking to Krishna like a Priti Utpulla Mukaha Prochuhu with so much of joyous face. Priti Utpulla Mukaha Prochu Harsha Gadgadaya Gira. So this is Prahashitaha. Here also people Prahashitaha with so much of happiness, overjoy. They are giving to Krishna all of the Pitaram Sarvasuhradam Avitaram Ivadbhakaham. When the father leaves the home and then he returns home, at that time little children come and give hug to the father. Father will be so pleased. Pitaram Sarvasuhradam Avitaram Iva Adbhakaha. So in such a way, all the people with so much of love and affection, they went to Krishna to receive him and to give so many gifts to Krishna. Okay, so this is how the people are in the olden days. They have got lots of affection to the king. So as Prabhupada here, it is describing here. There is a similar description when Krishna returned to Dwaraka after the battle of Kurukshetra. At that time, he was received by all classes of citizens. So it is different kinds of Brahmanas and also everyone. So let me just share some of those pastimes of it, how Yes, this one, Brahmatam Kurukshetram. This is when Krishna is going nearer to. So here, Brahmavatam, Krishna is passing through Kurujangala, Panchalan, Surasenan, Sa Yamunan, Brahmavatam, Kurukshetram, Maschan, Saraswatan, Atha. So this is how Krishna is passing through different places. Brahmavata is one of it. And he is to stop Tatra Tatraha Tatra Tatrachaihi Harihi Pratyujita Arhanah Sayam Bhej Dishim Pashat Gavisto Gam Tataha Gavisto Gam Gataha Tada. So here, whenever Krishna is leaving, and in the evening, he used to stop at some villages when the sun set. At the time, everyone took that opportunity. They came and they gave so many of gifts to Krishna, being offered so many presentations. In the sense that they do not travel. So then they got all the opportunities to give it to Krishna. So Krishna was welcomed, worshipped, and given various presentations. Not only Dwarka people, but everyone, when Krishna was traveling, it is an opportunity. And sometimes we see when the Lord is going in the street procession with the Jagannatha or Ramachandra or different deities, Krishna, and people in the street, they are all having in a plate a coconut, a flowers, and some kind of betel leaves, betel nuts, and then palm leaves, and different kinds of paraphernalia, and offer it to the Lord and break the coconut to give some kind of donations to the Lord, to the deities when deities are going in a street. It is a custom. So that custom, so here you see how people are receiving the Lord in such a way. In the streets, we still can see in the villages. We still can see in the villages that kind of processions go. Everyone take that opportunity and giving offer to the some kind of donations, and everyone just give keep their homes ready in front of. So this one, it is very beautifully described in the 11th chapter, first canto, Lord Krishna's entrance. So here again there are different glorifications of Krishna. That is described here. I'm not going. They're all treating Krishna like like a Pitra and Guru, so many other ways. They're very beautiful things to learn. Okay, just I'm going to take to that particular shlokas. Where how the Dwarka was nicely decorated. Gopura Dwara Margeshu Kurta Kautaka Toradam Chitra Dvacha Patagagrehi Antaha Pratihata Atapam. And here, whenever festival comes, everyone in front of their homes, like the banana plants, they have got banana plants, and also on top of it, they will bring some kind of berry leaves. It is called neredu in Sanskrit. I think it is jumbo deep. I think those jumbo fruits, those leaves and branches, and also the mango leaves, nicely decorated. Every home is in front of it. It is greenly decorated. So I have seen practically most of when the festival comes. So this is Krutakautaka Toranam, Chitradaja Patagagrehi Antaha Pratihata Atapam, and it will even the sunshine is coming, it will be checked. And it is all auspicious. People are wearing nice saris, nice dresses, and men are wearing white dresses, white dhoti and kurta like that. And everyone, Sammajita Mahamargharatya Apanaka Chatvaram, Siktam Gandha Jalehi Vuptam, Palapushpakshita Ankureihi. This is Palapushpa Akshata Ankureihi, different kinds of the flowers, fruits, and scented water. It is Siktam Gandha Jalehi, the scented water. It is sprinkled all over. The highways, subways, lanes, markets, public meeting places were thoroughly cleansed and then moistened with scented water, and to welcome the Lord, fruits, flowers, and broken seeds were strewn everywhere. So, and Dwari Gruharnam Chadadi Akshita Palekshubhihi Alam Krutam Purnakumbaihi Balibihi Dhupadipakaihi Alam Krutam. This is how we see the Lord when going in the state position. Alam Krutam Purnakumbaihi. Purnakumbha is the full water pots. Balibihi along with articles to worship. Dhupadipakaihi incense with lamps and candles. Okay, this is all auspicious things. That is how people they have received And there are many people who has researched different sections of the people. Apart from their family members, it is described, the sections of people, it is described. Varanendra Pushkarutya, keeping the big elephants in the front. Brahmanehi Susumangalehi, Shankaturi Nadhena, Brahma Ghoshena Chadritaha, Brahma Ghoshena. When they are chanting the Vedic hymns, it is so auspicious. Pratyajagmuhu Ratehi Vrishtaha, Pranayagat Sadvasaha. They all went in the Ratehi Vrishtaha, in a chariot to receive Krishna. All the family members and keeping all the elephants, and Brahmanas are chanting the Vedic hymns. And the Var Mukyasha Setaso, and also even the prostitutes, well-known prostitutes. Yanehi Tad Darshan Uchakaha, Lasat Kundala Nirbhata, Kapola Vadana Shriyaha. They are also decorating themselves to go and appear in front of Krishna so beautifully. Okay, not only them, and then further many other people. So Natanataka Gandharvaha Sotama Gadavandinaha Gayanti cha Uttama Shloka Charitani Adbhutani cha. And many people, they are glorifying Krishna and glorifying his past ancestors also. Sotama Gadavandinaha Natanataka Gandharvaha Gayanti cha Uttama Shloka Charitani Adbhutani cha. Wonderful pastimes, glorifying Krishna's wonderful pastime. Okay, that is how one should receive here. And Bhagavatam Statra Bandhunam Pauranam Anuvattinam Yata Vidhi Upasangamya Sarvesham Manam Adade. And Krishna, when many people are coming, Krishna received them very nicely. Bhagavam Statra Bandhunam and his family members, Pauranam Anuvattinam and citizens of the Dwaraka. And Yata Vidhi Upasangamya, Yata Vidhi, according to as it behaves, as it is appropriate to reciprocate with the family members, citizens, Sarvesham Manam Adade, each and everyone, honor and respects. He has offered accordingly. How he has given the offerings? Prahva Abhivadan Aslesha Karasparshat Mitekshanahi Aswasacha Asopakebhyo Varesha Abhimadaihi Vibhuhu. So here bowing his head, this is one kind of reciprocation. And Abhivadana by greeting with words, Aslesha embracing, Karasparsha handshaking, and Smita Ikshanaihi by glancing with smiles, Asvasacha Aswapakebhyo, and by encouragement, and Ashwapakebhya down to the lowest rank of the dog eaters, Varaihi by giving benedictions to them, Varesha Abhimataihi Vibhuhu, and desired by. So here, Lord fulfills the desires of everyone. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam tadaiva bhajamyaham mama vatman vartante manushaha panta sarvashaha. However they are reciprocating, Lord will do accordingly. The way we serve the Lord, Lord will reciprocate. Okay, so coming back to here. So here, Barhishmati, coming to again Barhishmati. So Krishna already passed Brahmavatta to Dwaraka. Now we are in the Brahmavatta, where the capital is Barhishmati. Everyone are receiving Swayambhumanu. And Prabhupada is describing every city is properly constructed. So here, so this is the time of Swayambhumanu. And also, this is later on when the Prithu Maharaj time comes. He has made the earth in a equal manner, in a pair. He has broken so many of hills. He constructed so many cities and villages, different for different people in the forest as well. That was also, it is described in the 4th canto. Okay, so here how they are receiving Swayambhumanam. Okay, we shall move on to next. Okay, so here how this kingdom of Brahmavatta is spread. And the capital of Brahmavatta is the Barhishmati. And here it is described the green grass. It is like we use kusha grass and kasha grass, 2 kinds of grasses. One kusha grass is used whenever we are doing some puja. The Brahmanas bring kusha grass, and then they will make some small kind of ring with that, and then keeping on the finger, and then they chant the mantras. So thinking that, okay, my dear Lord, I am doing engaged in your service. Okay, likewise, That is called kusha grass. Using that one, they sprinkle the water as well, using the kusha grass. And kasha grass, it is used to prepare some mats. We might have seen some kind of mats, which is made with the kasha grass. Okay, so such kind of grasses are spread within this country, Barshmati. So, using those things, using the opulences of that country, that kingdom, here Swayambhu Manu, he is worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Yajna Purusha. Okay, the shlokas are going like this. Barshmati nama puri sarva sampat samanvita nyapatan yatra romani yajnasya angam vidunvataha kushaha kashasta evasan shashvadharita vachchasaha ऋषियो वैयैः पराभाव्य यज्ञाग्नान् यज्ञमीजरे Barhishmati Nama Puri. The city it is called Barhishmati Nama Puri. Puri is the city. Sarva Sampat Samanvita. It is all kinds of wealth. Samanvita, full of wealth. Sarva Sampat Samanvita, full of wealth. Nyapatan Yatra Romani. And there the hair fall down. Whose hair fall down there? Can anyone say? Question.
Lord Boar.
Yes, very beautiful. Lord Boar's hair fall down. Nyapatan yatra romani. Yajnasya angam vidunvataha. This is Yajnasya of Lord Boar. Angam, his body. Vidunvataha. Vidunvataha is a shaking. When he was Satasiko Dhuta Sivam Bhindubihi Vimbrjamana Bushamita Pavitaha. So here it will go and see that one later. Okay, so here Yajnasya angam vidunvataha. And then whenever that hair fall down, how that hair turned into Kushaha Kashasta Evasan. Kushaha, this is Kusha grass. Kashaha, Kasha grass. Te Evasam. Certainly Asan it became. So this hair turned into two kinds of grass. Kusha, Kasha. It became Asan. Shashwat Harita Vachchasaha. It is Shashwat Harita of a evergreen. Evergreen Vachchasaha, having that color. All the country is all greenish with these two kinds of grass. Rishyo Yehi Parabhavya Yajna Yajnignan Yajnam Ijire. Rishya Yehi. So there the sages Yehi by which Parabhavya Yajnagnan. And defeating Yajnagnan is the disturbance of the sacrificial performances. This is like it is talking about Hiranyaksha. He used to disturb the sages when they are performing the sacrifices. And Yajnam, Lord Vishnu, Ijire, they worshipped the Lord. Okay, so here Lord Boar has killed the Hiranyaksha demon. That is what it is mentioning here. Barshmati Nama Puri Sarva Sampat Samanvita Nyapatan Yatra Romani Yajnasya Angam Vidunvataha Kushaha Kasasta Evasan Shashvat Harita Vachchasaha Rishyo Yehi Parabhavya Yajnagnan Yajhimijire. The translation. The city of Barshmati, rich in all kinds of wealth, was so called because Lord Vishnu's hair dropped there from his body when he maintained himself as Lord Boar. When he manifested himself as Lord Boar. As he shook his body, this very hair fell and turned into blades of evergreen kusha grass and kasha, another kind of grass used for mats. Okay, so whenever in the temples, when we are the priest is offering lamps, he keeps the mat under his legs, a small mat. So that is made up of this kasha grass, by means of which the sages worshipped Lord Vishnu after defeating the demons who had interfered with the performance of their sacrifices. After defeating demons, that Hiranyaksha, Lord has defeated him, he killed him. It's a purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. any place directly connected with the Supreme Lord is called Pitasthana. It is Pitasthana. So sometimes we have got in India Ashtadasha Pitas. So they are all connected to the different deities. But especially so, I think when Shankaracharya, he has established the four major Pitas. One is in the Badrikashrama, one is in the Rameshwaram, and one is in the Jagannath Puri, another one is in the Dwaraka side. The four of them, the major ones. So here, that is for the Supreme Lord. It is called Petasthana. Barshmati, the capital of Swayambhuva, Manu, was exalted not because the city was very rich in wealth and opulence, but because the hairs of Lord Varaha fell at this very spot. Okay, these hairs of the Lord later grew as green grass, and the sages used to worship the Lord with the grass after the time when Lord killed the demon Hiranyaksha. Yajna means Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, karma is described as Yajnadha, Yajnadham karma, Anyatra karma bandhanaha. So anything if you do not do Yajnadha, then Anyatra karma bandhanaha. It will cause for bondage to this material world. So Yajnadha. And Yajna karma means work done only for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Samsiddhi Haritoshanam, only for the satisfaction of Vishnu. So if something is done for sense gratification or any other purpose, it will be binding upon the worker. It is karma bandhanaha. But here, anyway, we are receiving the benefit, but people, they take more enthusiastically thinking that when who are in the bodily concept of life, it is for me, and then they immediately eat it or do it anything for in the place of bodily concept of life. They will be binding upon the worker. It is the karma bandhanaha. And if we do it for the sake of Vishnu, still we take the prasadam and still we do carry out the activity, but under the instructions of Krishna. So Krishna says that everything, whatever you do, yat karoshi, yat dasnasi, yat juhosi dadasi, yat tapaspasi kaunteya kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, yat karoshi, yat dasnasi, yat juhosi. So whatever you do, anything, yat tapaspasi, either tapasya, you charity, anything. It is only kurushva madarpanam. Give it to me, oh my dear Arjuna. Likewise, Krishna says here, anything which is not offered to Krishna, it will bind upon the worker. If one wants to be freed from the reactions of his work, he must perform everything for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Yajna. In the capital of Swayambhu Barshmati, these particular functions were being performed by the great sages and saintly persons. So beautiful. So here, one of the statements, when Parikshit also, he was punishing the Kali. He gives, O Kali Purusha. So Kali Purusha, he surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj. At the time, he says, do not worry, O Kali. I give assurance, I do not kill you. But I will give you an option that you leave this kingdom. And because here every day there are yajnas are happening and we worship the Yajna Purusha and so many sacrifices performed. So there is no place for you to stay in this kingdom. And then he says, that's why this is what are the gambling, illicit associations, and the intoxications, meat killing of the animals, meat eating. These things are completely condemned. So this Kali Purusha, if he is there, he will influence all the people's minds. Apriti Buddha Chetasam, who are not properly educated, they are called Apriti Buddha Chetasam. Apriti Buddha Chetasam, they are not educated yet to understand what is his constitutional position, what is the relationship with him to the Supreme Lord. So Apriti Buddha Chetasam. So here, Parikshit Maharaj says, wherever this such kind of sacrifices and worshipping of the Lord happens, nothing illicit, this kind of sinful activity should take place. So there are some kind of rules happening in this India. Around the surroundings of the temple, no one should perform this kind of activities for a certain region. maybe 10 kilometers around the temple or city, like that. So here, Parikshit Maharaj says, and then immediately Kali says, oh king, wherever I go, I only see you having the bow and arrows. There is no place which is not your kingdom. And then later on, he gives the 4 places. What is intoxication, meat eating, gambling, and uh, illicit associations. And also here, again, fifth one also. So fifth one is the gold, which everyone likes most. Okay, so that is how Kali is residing in the Amunicha Panchasthanani, the 5 places. The Parikshit Maharaj has given those 5 places to Kali Purusha. So here, coming to this one, Yajna Purusha and his hair. Whenever Lord Varahadeva, here Swayambhu Manu, when he has asked Brahma about oh my dear father, so please order me, what can I do? And Brahma says, you just go and expand the progeny. Then immediately he says, if I wanted to have a progeny, so now the earth is sunken in the water. Then Brahma was thinking, oh, what should I do now? In such a way, he was contemplating immediately. After some time, the Lord has appeared from his nostril. It's Varahatoka. So it is a little tiny Varaha. And then Kshanad Ghanda Silasamaha. In a moment, it has become very big. And then, whenever all the Brahma and all his children are looking, this Varahadev Bhagavan expanded huge. And then they're glorifying the Lord. And then, in order to give them enthusiasm and also giving assurance that He is going to help them by lifting the earth, He has roared. Okay, so that one we can go and see here. Nishamite gargaritam swakeda chaishnu maya maya sukarasya janah tapaha satyinivasinaste tribihi pavitrihi muniyo agurunansmam. They're all glorifying the Lord, saying that when the great sages and thinkers who are residents of Janaloka, Tapoloka, and Satyaloka heard the tumultuous voice of Lord Bhor, which was all auspicious sound of all merciful Lord, they chanted auspicious chants from the 3 Vedas. And then what happened? Tesham sadam Veda Vidanamurtihi Brahmavadari Atma Gunanavadam Vinadhya Bhoyo Vibudodayaya Gajendra Lilo Jalama Vivesha. The Lord jumped into the water. And while they're all praying to the Lord, Vinadhya Bhoyo Vibudodayaya, with so much of compassionate. So playing like an elephant, he entered into the water after roaring again in reply to the Vedic prayers by the great devotees. The Lord is the object of the Vedic prayers. And thus he understood that devotees' prayers were meant for him. And then further, Vukchiptavalha Kacharaha Katoraha Satavidhanvan Kararo Masatvak Kurahdabraha Sidansra Iksha Jyotir Bhavashe Bhagavad Mahidraha Vukchiptavalha Kacharaha Katoraha, and slashing with the tail. So here Varahadev, so Bhagavan has got the tail here. Vukchiptavalha Kacharaha Katoraha. And then in the sky, he stood in the sky. And here, Sataha. This is Sataha, hairs on his shoulder. Sata within one Kararoma Satvak. Kararoma, the sharp, and Roma Satvak, skin full of hairs. Skin full of hairs. And Kurahuta Braha. Kura Ahata Abrata. This is Kutabra. Kurabrataha. Sorry. Kurahuta Abraha, the clouds, Sitadamstra Iksha Jyotir Bhavashe Bhagwan Mahidraha. Sitadamstra, his white tusks, Iksha with his glands, and Jyotir Bhavashe Bhagwan Mahidraha. He is so effulgent, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here, what is mentioned here? So he has got the hair on his back and his head. He's just moving his hair like this, and hair is moving here and that way. So this is how it is mentioning Vukchiptavalha Kacharaha Katoraha Tatavidhanvan Kararoma Satvak. So here Lord Bird flew in the sky, slashing his tail, his hard hair quivering, his glance was luminous, and he scattered the clouds in the sky with his hooves and his glittering white tusks. And then he entered into the water by smelling the earth. Granena Putvyaha Padavimijighran Kurodapadeshaha Swaimadbharangaha Karaladam sopi akraladrugbhyam udbhiksha vipran grunato abhitkam. By smelling that, he jumped into the water, trying to smell the earth. Where is the earth? And then he lifted with his tusks that earth. And then during the time, even though it is fear, Karaladam, the two tusks are very fearful, but his glance is so peaceful. Udbhiksha viprana grunato abhitkam. So likewise, and then further, just going very quickly. So Savajrukotanga Nipata Vegha Vishinu Kukhi Stanayanu Dhanvan Ustrusta Dhirgomi Bhujirivataha Chuprosha Igneshwara Pahimeti. I'm just bringing, this is so auspicious to hear. This is about Yajna Purusha, Varahadev Bhagavan. Savajrukota Nipata Veg, when he jumped in the Garbhodaka ocean, what a splash into big two waves, and then that splash is jumped, that is appearing like the we are calling the Lord like, oh my dear Lord, please protect me. Pahimeti. Vusrustadir Gomi Bhujirivataha Chukrosha Igneshwara Pahimeti. So very beautifully, Lord jumped into the water. And then further, Kureihi Churapaihi Daryam Satapa Vutparaparam Tripururasayam Dadarshagam Tatra Susturagre Yam Jivdani Swaimabhyadatta. And then he smelled that earth and he found it, and then he has lifted on his tusks. Dadarshagam Tatra Susturagre Yam Jivdani Swaimabhyadatta. Abhyadatta. He has lifted. And then Swadam Srayudritya Mahim Nimagdham Savutitaha Samruche Rasayaham Tatrapi Daityam Gadyapatantam Sunabasandipita Tivra Manyuhum. And then when he was lifting the earth and his tusks, at that time, there is a Daitya has come, that is the Hiranyaksha. Tatrapi Daityam Gadyapatantam Sunabasandipita Tivra Manyu. He killed the Hiranyaksha. And then Jaganarundana Masahevikramam Salilayebham Rugradi Basi Tadrakta Pankankita Gandatundo Yata Gajendro Jagatim Bibindan. It is Lord is appearing with so much, his whiteness became into Rakta Pankankita Gandatundo, and very reddish because he has killed that Hiranyaksha. And then he is standing now, lifting the earth. Tamal Yelam Sidanchako Chak Chamut Chipantam Gajlila Yanga. Chamut Mukchiptam Gajlila Yanga. Prajnaya Baddhanjala Yonuva Kaihi Virinchi Mukyaha Upadasturisham. And lifting the earth on his tusks, and he is standing in the Garbhodaka ocean. And then all these great sages, they're glorifying the Varahadeva. Virinchi Mukyaha Upadasturisham. And what they're glorifying? This is Roshiyasara speaking. Jitam te ajita yajna bhavana trayim tanum swam paridhunvate namaham yadhro magarteshu nililyuradhayaha tasmai namaha karanasukarayate. Oh my dear Lord, we offer all our obeisances unto you. So here they say yadhro magarteshu nililyuradhayaha. Romagatesh, in his bodily pores, the hair sweating holes, so many oceans are there, such a big holes there. Nililyuradhayaha sub and adhayaha, the oceans and that holes. Tasmai namaha karana sokarayate. Okay. So here just bringing the hair on the body of the Lord, glorifying the hair. And then they are further glorifying Rupam Tavetannana Duskrutatmanam Durdarshanam Deva Yadadvaratmakam Chandamsi Yasyatwachit Barhiromasu. Again Barhiromasu. His hair on his body of the Lord Varahadeva. Barhiromasu. It is called Kusha grass. Barhiromasu. Barhi is the sacred grass called Kusha. Romasu, hair on the body. Barhiromasu. Ajyam Dushi Trungishu Chaturhotram. And the oblations, that is his eyes. Ajyam Drushi Twangrishu Chaturhotram. The four legs of the Varahadeva is Chaturhotram. The four kinds of fruitive activities. Sraktunda Sisro Ishanasayoho Hirodare Chamazaha Karnarandre Prasitramase Grasne Grahastute Yacharavanam Te Bhagavanagdihotram. Sraktunda Asitruva Ishanasayoho, different kinds of parts used in the fire sacrifices or yajna sacrifices. This is Sratunda, Asit, Shruva. There is a Shruva. This is different kinds of tools used in the sacrifices. Yudodare, Chamasaha, Karnarandre. There are comparing to the Karnarandres. Prasitramase, Grasane, Grahastute, and Yecharavanante, Bhagavan and this blazing fire, it is a Charavanamte, chewing of the Lord. Lord takes the offerings through the fire sacrifices. But he is more pleased when the devotees are taking our Brahmanas and devotees are Vaishnavas are accepting the food through their mouths. Okay, so but here is Yecharavanante Bhagavan Agnihotram, that is his chewing of the Lord. And then Dikshanu Janmopasadaha Sirodharam Tvam Prayani Udani Damstraha Jiva Prabhadyaha Tavasishkam Kratoho Satyava Satyam Chadayaha Asavohite Janma Upasadaha is the it is the relationship. This is Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana, those things. Okay, these are the relationship activities and the ultimate goal, Upasadaha. Okay, so here by worshipping the Lord, one will come to know all these details. Okay, this is again one more page, just going quickly. Somasturetaha savanani avastitihi samsta vibhede tavadeva datavaham tatrani sarvani sirira sandrihi tvam sarvayajna kriturishti bandhanaha tvam sarvayajna kriturishti bandhanaha. The Lord will be completely come into the control by the performing sacrifices. Sarvayajna kriturishti bandhanaha, attachment. Bandhanaha. Satrani sarvani serira sandhihi. Different joints of the bodily parts. Serirani, bodily joints, sandhihi. So here it is described. And then further it is describing Namo Namaste Akila Mantra Devata Dravyaya Sarvakratave Kriyatmane Vairagya Bhaktyatma Jayanubhavita Jnanaya Vidya Gurave Namo Namaha. They are glorifying the Lord. Jnanaya Vidya Gurave Namo Namaha, offering the obeisances. Namo Namaste Akila Mantra Devata, mantras, Akila Mantra Devatas. Dravyaya Sarvakratave Kriyatmane, all kinds of paraphernalia used in the 5 sacrifices. Sarvakratave Kriyatmane, and the sacrifice. Vairagya Bhaktya Atma Dhyanubhavita, and people who are with bhakti, detachment, and Atma Dhyanubhavita, and who are worshipping the Lord, they will be easily able to know the Supreme Lord. Atma Dhyanubhavita. Okay, that is the perceivable by conquering the Atma Dhyanubhavita. They are controlling the mind and worshipping the Lord by Dhyana and Vairagya Bhaktya. And here again, Damstagrakotya Bhagvam Sayadvita Virajate Bhudara Bhuhu Sabhudara Yatavananihi Sarato Dhatadruta Matam Gajendra Sapatra Padmini. Oh my dear Lord, how beautiful it is. You are lifting that on your tusks. It is appearing like a big gigantic elephant. Jump into the water and lift a beautiful lotus flower with its trunk. Likewise, you are appearing having this big earth on your tusks. So it is so beautiful comparison. Matam Gajendra Sapatra Padmini. And then further says another comparison. Trayemayam Rupamidam Chasaukaram Bhumandalena Dadatadutena Te Jakasi Srungoda Ghanina Bhuisa Kula Chelendra Sayataiva Vibramaham. Oh my dear Lord, how when you are lifting that earth on your tusks, how it is looking like when the big hills, the peaks of the mountains, when there is after rainfall, there are small clouds, white clouds are surrounding on those peaks. It is so beautiful appearing. Likewise, you are lifting this earth on your tusks. Chakasi Srungoda Ghanena Bhuisa Kula Chelendra Sayataiva Vibramaham. Oh Lord, as the peaks of great mountains become beautiful when decorated with clouds, your transcendental body has become beautiful because of your lifting the earth on the edge of your tusks. Okay, and then Samstapayanam Jagatam Satustasam Lokaya Patnimati Mataram Pita Videma Chasye Namsa Sahatvaya Yasyam Susagni Mivaranavadaham. Now you have lifted that. Now we are worshipping you. You are my father. You are Earth is our mother. This is Vivemachas Namasa Sahatvaya Lokasya Patim Patim, see, Mataram Pita. Mataram Pita. So you are our father and Earth is our mother. Likewise, they are all worshipping the Lord, addressing the Lord. Yascham Tujigni Mivarana Vadaham. Okay, just going very quickly. And then Kashadarit Anyatamaha Tava Prabho Rasam Gataya Bhuvidvibarhanam Savismayo Navismayo Asau Twai Vismaye Yo Mayedam Sasuje Ati Vismayam. And it is not very wonderful because you create, you maintain, and you destroy everything in a moment. Ekamshena Sito Jagat. Vishtabhyaham Krishnam ekamshena sito jagat. One namsha. But it is not very grateful, my dear Lord. Here you are, it is not wonderful, but it is wonderful, but it is not wonderful. It is not a great task for you because you do many things than this. So likewise, they are glorifying. You create, when compared with the entire cosmic manifestation, this is nothing. Coming here further, Vijanvata Vedam Vayam Nichimvapuho Janaha Tapaha Satyanivasu Vayam Satasikotbhuta Sivam Bhindabihe Vimrjamana Vrushamesha Pavitaham. So this is the verse I wanted to bring here. So here, O Supreme Lord, undoubtedly we are inhabitants of the most pious planets, the Jana, Tapaha, Satyalokas, but still we have been purified by the drops of water sprinkled from your shoulder hairs by shaking of your body. Sata Vidhanvan Karar. This is Sata Sikodhota Sivam Bindubihi. That hair fall on that area, Brahmavatta, which is grown as the Kusha grass and the Kasha grass. The Brahmanas use this Kusha grass to sprinkle the water on the people who are surrendering in the sacrifices. That is how we also get purified. Here all the sages are glorifying the Lord. And then finally they glorify Savai Bhata Brashtamatihi Tavaishate Yah Karmanam Param Apara Karmanaha Yad Yoga Maya Guna Yoga Mohitam Vishwam Samastam Bhagwan Videhisham. They prayed to the Lord. This entire world is bewildered by your external energy. You just please bestow your causeless mercy upon this conditioned soul. In such a way, they are praying. All the Brahma and Swayambhumanu is present there. Swayambhumanu. And why we have brought where the Lord Varaha has lifted the earth. Now here Swayambhumanu is ruling that one, keeping Brahmavatta in that kingdom where Barshmati is his capital, and where those hair fall on the Barshmati. Okay, this is a very beautiful pastime of Lord is Yajna Purushaya. That is what summary of it. We shall quickly move to the next shloka as well due to the time. And that kingdom, that city, Kushakasha Mayim Barhihi Astirya Bhagavan Manuhu Ajat Yajna Purusham Labdhastanam Yito Bhuvam Kushakasha Mayim Barhihi. So that city, Manu has spread a seat of Kushas and Kashas and worshipped the Lord, the personality of Godhead, by whose grace he had obtained the rule of the terrestrial globe. Okay, so this is the word Swayambhumanu. He is the king of entire world. And for his sake, on his request, Swayambhumanu's request, Lord Brahma's prayers, and Varahadeva has appeared and lifted that. Now Swayambhumanu is here. He is worshipping the Lord. Kushakasha Mayim Barhi Astirya Bhagavan Manuhu Ayat Yajna Purusham Labdha Stanam Gito Bhuvam. And he is worshipping the Lord within that area. So purport. So Manu is the father of mankind, and therefore from Manu comes the word man, or in Sanskrit Manushya. Those who are in better position in the world, having sufficient wealth, should especially take lessons from Manu, who acknowledges his kingdom and opulence to be gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus always engaged in devotional service. Always engaged in devotional service. This is called gratitude. It is not simply taking and then enjoying for ourselves. It is gratitude. Though it's a king, he is worshipping the Lord, acknowledging his kingdom and opulence to be gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And similarly, the descendants of Manu are human beings, especially those who are situated in a well-to-do condition, must consider that whatever riches they have are gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Suchidam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Abhijayate. So this is again Krishna says people who are lost their path, in the spiritual path, or stopped or in the previous life or wherever it is, and they will take an opportunity in another life. Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Abhishayate. They will take birth in the auspicious homes. Suchinam Srimatam and the rich people's homes, and then they can continue well-to-do condition. So knowing that they are gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those riches should be utilized for the service of the Lord in sacrifices performed to please Him. It is atah pumbid vijisreshta varnashrami bhavshah swanishrasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Swanishrasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. To please Hari. Okay, this is the way of utilizing wealth and opulence. This is Yetavat janma lokesmin देहेषु इह देहिनां प्राणैः यद्दैः दिया वाचा श्रेय आचरणं sada. One has to use pranaihi, addaihi, and vacha, dhiya. Dhiya is intelligence, speaking, and everything for the shreya acharanam sada. Always auspicious things to please Hari. This is the yetavat janma sapalyam. This is how one can perfect his human life. Deheshu iha dehinam, who has got the material bodies. No one can achieve wealth, opulence, good birth, a beautiful body, or nice education without the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, those who are in possession of such valuable facilities must acknowledge their gratefulness to the Lord by worshipping Him and offering what they have received from Him. Okay, this is gratitude. That's why we perform so many sacrifices. It is required. In this age, many people, all of their wealth, it is being utilized just for eating, sleeping, and paying bills and mortgages and rent amounts. And at the end, we will be left with empty pocket. That's why we do not have, this is, instead of a Dravya Yajna, which requires different kinds of paraphernalia, we may not afford. At that time, in this age of Kali, Sankirtana Yajna is the prominent. So we can take that opportunity, people who cannot afford. Okay, and when such acknowledgement is given either by a family, nation, or society, their abode becomes almost like Vaikuntha. And it becomes free from the operation of the threefold miseries of material world. This is Vasantyatra Purushaha Sarve Vaikuntha Muttayaha Yanamitta Nimittena Dharmen Aradayan Harim. And people always worship the Supreme Lord. This is called Vaikuntha. Yanamitta Dharmena Aradayan Harim. Dharmena, it is by their natural constitutional position. Aradayan Harim, then it becomes Vaikuntha. When people all becomes like the Krishna consciousness. Then there will be no miseries. Pravartetra Rajtamastayoho Satvam Mishram Nachakal Vikramaha. Nachakal Vikramaha. There is no time influence also in the Vaikuntha. Pravartetra Rajtamastayoho Tatvam Mishram Nachakal Vikramaha. No three material modes of nature, no time influence. Naitra Maya Kimuta Parer Harer Anurata Yatra Sura Asura Achitaha. There is no influence of Maya. And even the sometimes atheistic people or demons also come, they also participate in that festivals without any enviousness. There, Asura, Sura, Asura, Achitaha, everyone worship the Lord. This is also our practical experience. Some atheist people, they will visit and they're quiet because the atmosphere makes them that the influence of goodness, passion, and ignorance of this material world that do not prevail in the temples wherever Vishnu temple, Krishna, Rama, or Vishnu Murtis are worshipped. We can practically sense that one. This is called Sura Asura Achitaha. In the modern age, the mission of Krishna consciousness is for everyone to acknowledge the supremacy of Lord Krishna. Okay. And whatever one has in his possession must be considered a gift by the grace of the Lord. So this is called, we spend, if we wanted to go from one country to another country, we spend this country currency and buy other currency. That is spending some kind of energy here, either money way or different ways. But here, when we have got the material body, what are our sampatti? So sometimes it may be material opulences or speaking, prana, dehi, diya, vacha, everything. We spend in the devotional service that will turn into Brahma Sampatti. And then that using that Brahma Sampatti, one can live very happily. He can counteract all kinds of problems in his life. And at the end, perfection of human life is achieved. This is again अन्निच्छितो गतिम अन्वयम प्रयुंक्ते कृतात्मनो सत प्राणांश भक्ति अन्निच्छितो अन्वयम gatim prayunte. Without special endeavor, he automatically achieves. Without personal separate endeavor, he automatically achieves the perfection of human life when he engages all these things in the service of the Lord. Therefore, everyone should engage in devotional service through Krishna consciousness. Through Krishna consciousness. There is no other way. Only Krishna is supreme. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam bhuda bhava samanvitaha. Who knows that? Who understands that everything comes from Krishna, bhuda bhava, samanvitaha. They engage in the devotional service to the Lord. Otherwise, other people, they're all engaging in the materialistic activities, which is a bewilderment. They cannot take any assets with them at the end. Whereas the devotees, they take the spiritual assets. This is Brahma Sampatyam. Vishoko Brahma Sampatya Sanchinadvait Samsayaha. Whenever Arjuna, he was bit lamenting due to the separation from Krishna, Vishoko Brahma Sampatya, because he has heard Bhagavad Gita from Krishna. So, Geetam Bhagavata Dhanam Yattad Sangrama Murdhani. In the Kurukshetra battle, he has heard all the Bhagavad Gita. We are also in the Kurukshetra battle, fighting with the different kinds of things in day-to-day life, using all our senses and trying to counteract, do so many other things. When we have got this Brahma Sampatya, Krishna consciousness, that is Krishna consciousness. Vishoko Brahma Sampatya, Vishokaha, no more lamentation. That is one way. And also in the Bhagavata Dharma, in hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasya Maishri Mayanam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktirutpadyate Pumsaha Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. Just by hearing Krishna Katha, one would free from all kinds of material pangs. Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. Lamentation and illusion and also fearfulness. He'll be freed just by hearing Krishna Katha. And love towards Krishna will sprout in his heart. Bhaktirutpadyate Pumsaha. Okay, so if one wants to be happy and peaceful in his position, either as a householder or citizen or member of human society, one must promote devotional service for the pleasure of the Lord. One must promote devotional service for the pleasure of the Lord. It is to please Krishna. So everything belongs to Krishna. So if we ignore Krishna, what happens? We do not have any other place. Of course, Krishna is so merciful, he will give a different place according to his position. But we must please Krishna, acknowledging. We have got a body, we got senses, we are experiencing different kinds of pleasures, sense pleasures. It is by the mercy of the Lord. And once we leave a body, then no more senses, no material body. And then we are in a pisacha body, still if we have got desires. And then we will struggle because we still have got desires left. But when the Lord here, tam jiva karma padvim anuvartamanaha, and the Lord sees as a super soul situated in the heart of every living entity. Okay, so again, there are many beautiful prayers of baby in the womb, how he worshipped the Lord, even though he is of 7 months. Okay, again, it is another beautiful part. Okay, so here, Prabhupada is mentioning one must promote devotional service for the pleasure of the Lord. Then this is Nachata small manusheshu kaschid. So again, Krishna says there is no one dearer to me than one who is preaching Krishna consciousness or speaking Bhagavad Gita to my devotees. Who are my devotees? Chaturda bhajante mam janaha supritanodjuna arto ardhade jnasu jnani cha bharatarshava. 4 kinds of people. But Krishna says that people who are not pious, who are not performed any sacrifices or not in the spiritual path and do not, who are envious of Krishna and envious of devotees, do not speak Bhagavad Gita or this transcendent knowledge. Okay, likewise Krishna also gives another information, what to do, what not to do as well. That's how devotees are more compassionate, but sometimes how to sense that immediately having a little bit of conversation, what kind of people opposite is, whether it is useful to speak or not. Immediately one can sense within a couple of seconds or in a minute or so, then he can understand whether it can continue or not. In such a way, it is another technique of preaching. Okay, so like that is from Srimad Bhagavatam on this purport. Apologies for few minutes past 9 o'clock. I stop there. I request dear devotees, if you have got any questions or you wanted to share anything or anything which is taking your mind, kindly ask or kindly share. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. There is hand raised by Javed Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for such a wonderful class. I do have a question. I'm unsure. So Swayambhuva Manu is considered as one of the 12 Mahajans, and I just wanted to know for what reason he's considered as that, because I mean from Purport 31 we can see he had such an exemplary character. Even though he was a king, he full of opulence, he used everything to serve the Lord. So is it through his character that he was a Mahajan, or did he teach something? I'm unsure of that. Thank you. If you can cover that.
Yes, Mataji. So here, so Munim Swayambhumanam Yadda Prabhu Bhogaha Nasekuhu Bhagavad Param. He knows how to utilize all his opulences without falling down into the material pool, always keeping his transcendental position. Nasekuhu Bhagavad Naseku, he never fall down from his position. And then all the time he was worshipping the Lord. And Ayatayamaha, yes, this is Nisham. Okay, it comes in the later shlokas. Ayatayamaha tasyasin yamaha swantarayapanaha. Shrunuto dhayito vishnoho kuruto brutaha kataha. Sayevam swantarminye yuganam eksaptitim vasudev prasangena paribhuta gatitrayaha. So this one, it is described whenever he is, consequently, although his duration of life gradually came to end. Swayambhuva, his long time consisting of Manvantara was not spent in vain, since he ever engaged in hearing, contemplating, writing down. This is Manu Samhita, writing down and chanting the pastimes of the Lord. This is one thing. And always he spent 71 yuga cycles. Yuganam eksaptitim Vasudeva prasangena paribhuta gatitrayaha. 71 yuga cycles completed by Krishna Katha, Vasudeva Prasangena. After that, he did not experience this Deha Dharma. This is called Sarira Manasa Divya Vayasa Yecha Manushaha. Bodhikasha Katam Klesha Bhadantya Harisamsrayam. He did not experience anything. Okay, and then later on there is one Yah Prushto Munibihi Praha Dharma Nana Vidhan Shubhan Dunam Varna Shramanam Cha Sarvabhuta Hitaha Sada. This is the ultimate, the response for your question. Yah Prushto Munibihi Praha. The great sages asked, Yah Prushto Munibihi Praha. What he spoke? Dharman, Nana Vidhan, Shubhan, Dunam Varnashramanam Cha Sarvabhuta Hitaha Sada. He spoke about the Varnashrama Dharma and for everyone, Sarvabhuta Hitaha Sada. This is called Manusmriti. There are so many other things. In reply to questions asked by certain sages, sages used to ask the king, Swayambhu Manu. So Swayambhu Munim. So here he is called Swayambhu Munim. Yatra in the previous shlokas it is also described. Okay, so he is well, like Bhishma Deva has got so much of knowledge. Likewise, Swayambhu Manu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manish Mataji. Okay, any other questions or any other things to share, dear devotees? Okay, if there are no questions, then we shall conclude our session. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. This is all auspicious. Just hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Yasya Maishri Mayanam Krishne Parama Purushe Bhaktirut Padyate Pumsaha Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. This is Nigamakalpataror Ghalitam Palam, eating the nectar through our ears. Okay. We shall conclude our session for tonight, and thank you so much.
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो नमः
नमो नमः
वृंद की जय
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. That was an
थैंक यू
excellent
प्रभु जी
class.
हरि
Thank you,
वो
Prabhuji.
Hari
Haribol.
Everyone,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
हरि वो
Hare Bol. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.